Hello, angels. Look at how gorgeous this meal is that my aunt made. Absolutely amazing. I love it. So, welcome back to another video. We're going to be beading this straw bag that I got from Amazon. It was only like $5. Sorry, right now it is raining very heavily outside and I have my window open. I just want some air to be circulating in this place. So everything that I'm going to be using in this video, I would leave a link for it down in my description box down below. But as always, everything is from Amazon. The bag is from Amazon. The mixed beads, we're going in with some red. I'm going to show you guys what we're going to be embroidering in a second. Voila, it's the crab. So this crab was supposed to go onto the bottom of a swimsuit, but that was not a great idea. So I put it on the shirt. I was like, oh, I can just embroider the shirt. And I was like, oh, never mind. The crab is too good. So why not just put it on this bag? So that's what we're going to be doing. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with the shirt yet. Probably just do like a car or something. Or like a tree. Maybe some alcohol. Not alcohol, but like, I don't know. I don't have no idea for the next thing I'm going to embroidery. But I'm just showing you guys a closer look of this bag. It's pretty simple. Nothing quite interesting. It's just a cute bag. Plus I'm going to be going on vacation this year, so I'm making a few little things that I can take. So what I did was I used my little pins to pin it onto the bag. It wasn't centered, so I had to recenter it to make sure it was good before I started beading it. I decided to take another break to eat. So now, as always, whenever I'm embroidering anything, I always go around the edge. And I decided to go with this red orange bead. It looks so pretty. It looks kind of holographic, but it is not. So whenever I finish and I realize that, okay, this is enough bead, I don't need any more, I split the thread in half. And then that is how you close it off so that it doesn't move around. And then the only thing I'm going to do next is just sew down every single bead. This project definitely took a minute because I was using different shapes. Beads, big ones, small ones. So it definitely took a minute. So I'm just showing you guys what I'm going to be using for the arms. These two reds right here. And I'm using the smallest needle that I could possibly find because these long beads, they have to be able to go through the needle and it doesn't get stuck. So whatever got stuck, I had to redo it again. So it definitely took a minute. So this night I did the outline for everything because I knew that in the morning I wanted to just fill up in the center with the beads and everything. And look at how pretty it is. Anytime the sun hit it, I knew that it would be reflecting. It looks so gorgeous. This is how the inside of the bag is looking so far. So when I finish, I have to block the inside of the bag so that the thread doesn't come undone, so that nothing that I put in the bag gets stuck under the thread and then it's just going to ruin everything. This video is probably going to have to be in 2 parts because I was unable to finish everything simply because I did not have the proper drill. And you guys are going to see in the end why I needed a drill. This video is pretty much fast forward. So I decided to go with 2 different type of long beads. One of them is darker, one of them is shorter, one of them is longer. So, and with the beads, these beads specifically, I wasn't unable to cut it with my scissors or anything like that. So if it was too long, there's nothing I could do about it. So some of these, you might see that the legs are a little messed up. That's because I can substitute a bead for anything else. And trust me, I went through all of the beads that I had. It just wasn't working out in my favor. So with each bead, I have to sew them down one by one, just like what I did for the body. You have to make sure to go over every single bead to make sure they sew down. Otherwise, it's going to be moving around. It's going to be shifting. Once I wash off this transfer paper, the beads are going to be moving. So you got to make sure that you sew it down properly. Go over it with the thread, the needle and thread to make sure they sew down properly. Sew it down properly. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know. I think I get camera shy sometimes. Like sometimes while I'm doing these, I might not pick up the camera and then just show you guys the progress. Because if I'm not recording, I can work so much faster. I don't feel like if I'm under any pressure. But as soon as I turn on the camera and I start recording, I start making so much mistakes that I wasn't doing before. I start moving very slowly. I don't know what's going on. It doesn't make no sense with me. Like, I finished that one corner perfectly fine, no mistakes, and I did it pretty quickly. So I was like, okay, let me just film this, and then I'll be done, and then I can just start on the body by tonight, and then just finish in like 8 hours. That was not the case. I was messing up. The threads kept on getting stuck, and in the morning when I was looking back over my work, I realized that I did not sew this down properly. So the thread, instead of it going all the way in, it was still sitting on top of the beads. So what I had to do was I had to go over the parts that I missed with my needle and thread to make sure that I sew it down properly and that the thread was not just sitting on top of the beads, which that took longer. So that's why this took like so much longer than I expected. So I finished around the edges. I fixed up everything in the morning. This is in the morning. Now I'm starting to fill in everything. So with the claws, I'm going in with my 3 different color oranges that I have. I decided to go with some orange and some red. That's the theme that we're going to be working with. And it's looking good so far. What just happened there? And my thread, as soon as I pick up the camera, like the thread wanted to come unraveling. Dun, 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 dun. These are the bigger beads. With these big beads, I sew down the corners, and then I just go back in and sew every individual beads so that it's not moving around and I can relax while I'm sewing, because this does hurt my back, having to sit up and just sew. But it was good. And now we're going in with the eyes. We're going to be using 2 different type of blacks. These 2 blacks right here for the eyes. The eyes are going to be a little bit crooked, unfortunately. I should probably fill it in with the other beads, but it looks pretty good. It looks like Mr. Crab from SpongeBob and SpongeBob and what? This SpongeBob. It looks good. Now I'm going to be starting on the other claw. Going in with my oranges, and I'm going to go in with my different type of reds. Look at how pretty this looks. Oh, that's a piece of hair. I thought that it was a thread that I didn't sew down properly, but thank God it was just a hair. It looks good. And I'm just checking it to make sure that I don't feel like if any of the beads are loose, any beads are sticking up, it's just laying down flat and everything's looking good. So I'm going to be filling in this part next. So I'm going in with some orange up top and then red. And that's the theme and the color that we're going to be using. So I did orange, now I'm doing red. Then I'm going to be doing red, then orange, red, then orange. You guys going to see, it's going to look so gorgeous, so pretty. It just looks so pretty. I thought that this was not going to be turning out great. That's how I feel about every beaded project that I'm doing. Until you're like halfway there, you're like, oh, this looks so gorgeous already. So it's in the morning or probably in the evening. And finally now I'm getting something to eat. I know that it looked like if this could probably take like a few minutes, but it definitely took like a really long time. Hours I'm talking about. So I got this great idea to add these gems in the middle. So I decided to go with this red heart right here. I thought it would look good. Give it a more like a 3D effect. So I'm trying to figure out which one I wanted. They all look so pretty. I wanted it to shine some more because I wanted to make the bag very 3D effect. I thought that I was just going to be doing the crab alone, but I got a different idea once I was doing this. So I'm going to give you guys a pretty quick, I fast forwarded this video as fast as I could. This was like a 90-minute clip, just this little section alone, so I definitely had to fast forward it. And I forgot that I didn't have all my little lights so you guys can see, but it's the same thing. Threading the beads onto my needle and then just sewing down every single bead. Make sure that it's not moving around, it's not shifting, and that the thread is not sticking up at the back, and then make sure that I sew it down properly. I did mess up on the thread and I just went over it again and sew it down. That always happens, per se. Look at it, it looks so good. And I'll just take a quick little break, then run back in. And I messed up on that little claw at the bottom. It was supposed to be orange, but I mistakenly add red. And honestly, I was not going to be going back over it again to change the color. So I was like, you know what? It's just going to have to be how it is. I don't think it turned out pretty good. You would have to be staring at it for like a few seconds to see like, oh, you're missing the orange right there. But it's fine. It still looks good. Pretty good. I'm just showing you guys the progress that I've made so far. And I'm showing you guys outside so we can get a better look. Now it's like nighttime. And I finally finished all of the claws. Now I can work on the center. And I'm going in with some red, some orange, some red, then orange. Oops, excuse me. And then I'm going to add the heart charm, the heart gem in the center. Look at it, it's so pretty. Just imagine when the sun is hitting the bag. It's going to look so gorgeous. So I was debating between one of these two. This one I think would have worked best with it, but I decided to go with the other one. And it still works pretty good. But it wasn't shining. It wasn't giving me the shining effect that I wanted. So these gems have some holes around the back. So I'm just sewing down everything. Just pushing my needle through there. And then you can sew it down. Make sure you to go over it like 1 or 2 times. I don't know why I went over it once and was like, oh, I'm adding on more beads. And it's shifting around. It's not centered. So I had to fix it. And in the end, it was not centered. Huh. Tomatoes, tomatoes. I'm going to show you guys how the back of it looks. So, sewing down the top, sewing down the bottom. Make sure you go over it 2 or 3 times to make sure that it is completely sewed down and it's not moving around or anything like that. And that is it. It's pretty good. I'm checking it and I realize that it's still loose, so I have to go over it again with my needle. You can see that it's definitely not centered, but I don't know what's wrong with my eyes. I was not seeing that. So now I'm just going over it with my orange beads. I love these beads. They're so cute. Got some white around the corner, and then in the center it is orange. So I'm just going over it again with my needle and thread since it's moving around. And now I'm almost finished, so I'm going in with my big beads, which is going to be a very much bad idea. I should have just went with my smaller beads and it would not be sticking out. It does look good. I'm not going to lie. It looks pretty good. But for the final beads, I definitely should have went with smaller beads. Looking good. So now we're going to do is wash off the transfer paper. And you guys are going to see as soon as the paper hits some water, it's going to completely disappear. I'm just taking it in just in case if I messed up or anything like that. I doubt it. The first thing I made was in the bag. I made a shirt and with some sequin bead that did not turn out great, but I've made 2 bags so far and they have turned out fabulous. So I am not worried about nothing, to be honest. This turned out so pretty. Look at all of the beads. Look at how it shines with the flashlight. It looks so much better in the sun, but unfortunately it has been raining like crazy over here, so I wasn't able to get in the sunshine. Okay, so now it's in the morning and it's completely dry. I forgot to remove these little pins after the paper dissolved, but I'm just doing it in the morning. This bag only took like 24 hours to dry. So I have these seashells. I'm just placing it around the bag just to see how it looks. I need to drill some holes into the shells so that I will be able to sew it down, and it looks so good so far. All of these shells as well I got from Amazon, and they look absolutely stunning. And then I'm going to add some beads into the center as well, so that the beads can just be falling down like if they're hanging, if that makes sense. In my head, it looks good. I haven't finished it yet, but I just wanted to just see how it's going to be looking, how everything is going to be coming together. I am so excited for this bag. It looks so pretty so far, and it's going to look so much prettier once the drill that I ordered comes in, so I can drill some holes into these shells, into these starfish, into everything that I have. Because I can't sew down nothing, and I don't want to glue it down. If I glue it down, I just feel like if it's not going to look as good as I want it to. So, I gotta sew it down. And just imagine this one up top. Oh, it's going to look so, so pretty. I'm so excited. So happy, so excited. I'm so sad I wasn't able to finish this bag like right away, but yeah, just as how it is. I didn't know that I wanted to add some shells or anything on there. I just came up with the idea. So this is just how the bag looks. It looks good. Come back for part 2. Bye.